How many times have you said yes when deep down you wanted to say no? Maybe it was agreeing to extra work when you are already overwhelmed, or committing to plans you had no energy for. We've all been there, stressed, drained, and regretted all those yeses. But what if I told you learning to say no is a key to your health, wealth, and happiness? In this video, I'll show you how the power of a no can protect your time, boost your well-being, and help you achieve the success that you've been striving for. I have had an interesting story of learning how to say the right no's and avoid the wrong yeses. In my childhood, I was not really given rooms to say no's. In my family, my parents always forced their will on me. Saying no to their will is strictly forbidden and impossible.
Always obey.
They didn't care much about what I was thinking. All they wanted to do is making sure that I'm doing the right thing that they think is right. Then the school did not encourage different voices to the teachers. Questioning the authority or righteousness of the teachers are also very rare and regarded as a wrong behavior. So I grew up in an environment where people tend to say yeses and also care so much about getting yes from the other people. It was definitely not an ideal environment to build independent thinking and creative mind. After I came to the United States, there has been many struggles for me when I should have said no. However, I chose to say yes. For example, there's 1 year I worked my ass off and delivered a very big and successful project. However, at the year-end review, my manager told me, "You did a great job and your salary is going to stay flat and you get flat review for the year." It was a heartbreaking experience and I was not used to saying no to the situation. I made a huge mistake that I did not say no immediately when hearing this review. Setting aside how negative this case was, what I learned is in our life, we always face challenges and we always have to make choices. And it's very critical to make the best choice for ourselves, for our own well-being, which means we should always consider rejection as a choice to other people's opinion and request. It is also a fundamental part of self-awareness to understand who you really are. By saying no when we actually feel no, we are aware of ourselves, of our own feelings, of who we really are. That's a big step towards gaining self-awareness. Also, on the other hand, it's a critical first step to live the way we want, to live the life we want, and to be the person we really want. I have two actual stories to share. The first story was about my past romantic relationships. When I look back on them, what I realized is that I made the same mistakes over and over by not setting boundaries, by not saying no to some of the requests from the partner, by sacrificing myself, my will, my well-being to satisfy the partner. Slowly, step by step, I start to enjoy the relationship less and less, and the resentment started to build. I do not feel happy about it anymore. It was not necessarily the fault of the partners. However, on my part, by not speaking up for myself, by not rejecting some of the ideas and requests that I did not want to, by accepting against my own will, I'm not only hurting myself, but I'm also hurting the relationship as a whole. So avoiding saying no may give a peace temporarily in the short term, but in the long term, it's damaging the root of the relationship. More resentment will be built in your heart, and you are going to start feel more and more burden and less enjoyment about this relationship. So to have a better relationship, one should always say no when no is the feeling. And another recent story, I had a very, very important friend. We were on to one particular experience together. However, a big part of that experience really annoyed me. In the middle of the experience, I was thinking to myself, should I say no to this agreement? And I did consider the fact that saying no may piss off this friend and may damage our relationship. So basically, I have two choices. The first choice is I can go against my own will, sacrifice myself again, and reach a temporary peace. Disagree with myself and agree with my friend to continue this experience. Or I can agree with myself and say no to the friend, taking the risk that it may damage our relationship. I chose the second. I said no to the friend, told him that I made another choice. And the result of this decision is that my friend and I parted away. I have not talked to or met this friend for a while. I never regretted this choice, given how much I respect and love this friend. But if I did not have the freedom to be myself, it indicates that this friendship is built on the wrong base, which should have not existed in the beginning. So it's actually better to end it faster than later. I feel sorry about it. However, it is the right thing to do. I don't regret. And you know what? I'm so happy about it. I'm so happy that I'm taking the risk. I'm taking the seemingly bad result in the short term to be myself. And in the long term, I'm going to have much better results just by being myself and choose the way I want to live. So let's think about why. Why do we tend to say yes and we don't want to say no? The first reason, referring to my experience, when we were kids, many of us have had the experience that our opinions are not really respected or considered by the parents, by the teacher, or other senior people because we were regarded as kids, lacking the autonomy or the capability to make decisions for ourselves. So many times we're not allowed to say no or choose to act in a different way that is expected by our parents or by our teachers. So that actually conditioned us heavily on how we're not used to say no, because we know that if we disobey the orders, we're getting bad results. And to a kid, the worst result is to be abandoned. That means death. So it's super scary. It is rational and realistic to say yes to the family, to the parents, and to the teachers. The second reason is that we humans are social animals. In our instinct, it is very important to maintain the social relationships and try to get positive feedbacks from the other people we connected with. Because in the ancient time, we all lived in tribes. The only way to live a better life is to keep yourself accepted in the tribes. It's really hard for an individual to survive in the wild without the protection of the tribe. So it's built in our instinct that we fear to piss off other people. We fear to disagree with other people. However, in modern society, there's no such danger anymore, and it is super easy to move from one tribe to another. It's so easy to find a group who actually share common interests, common value with you. So knowing that it is part of our instinct to be afraid to say no, also please acknowledge that it's not dangerous anymore to say no to other people, even break up the relationship, because you'll find better ones easily and you can live a much better life by doing that. And fundamentally, the inability to say no reflects a low self-esteem. In the case when we wanted to say no but say yes, it means that we choose to sacrifice our own well-being to satisfy the other people. It also means we love the validation of other people much more than ourselves. That's an indication of low self-esteem and low self-love. I mentioned this many times in this channel that self-esteem is the fundamental to all kinds of good things one can have in the life. Therefore, unable to say no when you wanted to means that you are leading your life to a much worse situation. There are so many benefits of saying no in addition of the self-esteem. Let's look at that. The first benefit of saying no is saving time. In this modern life, there are so many choices that we have to make every day. And if we say yes to all of them, that means our time will be occupied by many unimportant things. And we actually reduce the time we can put in our priorities. Saying no means making a very prudent decision that we would like to put more time to actually focus on our priorities. And do you know what is the one necessary factor to achieve health, wealth, and success? Focus on priorities. Furthermore, the ability to say no directly links to our health. In the book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, the author Brownie said that the biggest regret of the dying people is not being able to live the way they want. You have to say no to the things, the people that you don't want. Living the way you want, be yourself, actually links directly to your mental health, to your psychological well-being, which in the end links directly to your physical health. A happy brain will protect us from illness and heal us from chronic disease. And an unhappy brain generates the chemicals that activate those genes which promote cancer and other chronic disease. So to be a healthy person, you have to be able to say no. Before we reach success, one important milestone we have to reach is self-autonomy and self-esteem. We have to have the ability to make decisions for ourselves and choose the choice that we want with courage, with confidence, and with joy. Think about all the successful people you know. Do they make decisions for for themselves? Do they execute on their own decisions? Or do they wander around and try to satisfy everyone? I bet you know the answer. Think about Elon Musk, who have created all kinds of amazing companies and business that many people believe is impossible. Many of his creations only existed in science fictions and sci-fi movies. To get there, he has to say no to a lot of disagreements and a lot of disbeliefs, and he has to firmly execute on his own unique choice and vision to be able to make such great success. There's only one Elon Musk, and we don't have to be as successful as him. He showed us the direction of being successful. The last but not the least, to say no earns you respect from others. If you always agree with people, people will not take you seriously because they expect you to agree and they cannot respect you. My mentor once said, try to be loved by everybody. In the end, you will be loved by no one. Even to the people you say no who dislike you, they hate you, but they respect you. Can you imagine Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant to agree to everything and never said no? Have you seen them say no to other people, to their teammates, even to themselves? That's what I'm talking about. As now we know the benefit of saying no, let's talk about how to do it. The starting point is to have self-awareness. You have to understand who you really are, what you really want, and where you want to go. Without self-awareness, people cannot have the standard to judge. It feels like a leaf floating on the surface of the water. There's no root. So there's no anchor or there's no standard for you to decide, say yes or say no. Being aware of yourself means that you have a clear value and you can say no to things against the value. Have self-awareness means that you know your priorities. So you say no to the people or things that has low priority and you say yes to the highest priority on your list. To be self-aware also means that you have goals. Thus you have a clear direction where you are going. Then you can say yes to behaviors and choices to stay on the path and say no to any distractions that tries to pull you away from your direction or redirect you to some other places which you don't really want. To be able to say no, the second thing you have to have is courage. For many people, including me, we were not used to say no because of our upbringing experience, because of the social conditioning, because of the education we had, and also because of the instinctive fear to disagree. Having courage means that you acknowledge the fear and the resistance to say no, and you carry that with you but still do it. It's going to be awkward in the beginning, but you really can leverage the courage you have to go against the resistance and the feeling not to say no. As you do it more, you'll get more used to it. It is a process and it's a good process. Trust the process. Then it's actually very interesting to learn how to say no. Many of us also dislike people saying no to us directly. So what should we do? It's an art of language to choose the words to deliver the message of disagreement or rejection. And to master an art, it requires study, thinking, and practice. I highly recommend the book. It's called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Reading the book, thinking about how it relates to your experience, and practice what the book teaches in your day-to-day life, you'll get better and better in the art of saying no. In addition to that, the bonus is you'll get much better and better in the art of getting yes from other people. So this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.